I'd like to call to order the February 2nd, 2021 Brooklyn City Board of Education regular meeting. Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Here.
Mr. Oper.
He will be joining us. He's running a little bit late. He'll be here.
Mr. Slattery.
Here.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Here. Can we all stand for the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have any comments from visitors tonight?
We have no comments from the visitors. That form is still open on the website. If somebody wants to add it, we could always read it next time too.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you so much. Now on to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, Mr. Barcheck, Board of Education. A couple of brief announcements this evening. Hard to believe we're in our 5th week of our hybrid schedule since we returned from winter break. It's been going great. Our staff cases and student cases continue to trend downward, which is a positive thing. And I think we've seen that also with the data in the county and in the state. So little good news during this difficult time. As you're aware, Brooklyn City School District employees are in the week 2 of the vaccine distribution plan for state of Ohio. They're currently doing week 1 schools right now. We're scheduled for next week. I don't think it'll happen next week. What they're gonna do is they're going to get through week 1 schools first, then they'll move to week 2. That will obviously be dependent on finishing those schools and availability of the vaccine. I think the ultimate goal is, I know this will happen, our employees will be available to them at some point in February, which hopefully the second dose right around end of March, early April. So we're very confident that that's going to happen. And we have a majority of our staff members who have signed up for that, which is also positive. I'm going to try, Giant Eagle is our provider, so they're the ones that are going to be coming in to do the vaccinations for us. I'm going to try to schedule those on Wednesdays because that's our remote day. In case that we can't, in the event we cannot schedule on Wednesdays, we're going to be calling a calamity day. And we're calling off school. Won't be any remote learning. It'll be a day off for kids. My big concern is that it'll be almost a logistical difficulty to schedule period subs and things like that. And with the possibility of having some effects from the vaccine, we want to make sure all of our employees are safe and healthy for that. So more information to come as soon as I know the date and a confirmed date. I'll let families know, I'll let the Board of Education know that we'll be calling off. But again, I'm hopeful that it'll happen on a Wednesday. As we're in our hybrid schedule through February 19th, which is our 4-day-a-week schedule, I'm hopeful that at some point in the next week or so, I'm going to announce our new schedule for the rest of February and all of March. I'm hoping to add some time for specific grade levels and hopefully, but we're still looking at that. I want to see what's happening with our vaccine distribution for employees. I think we're a model school district in terms of our 4-day-a-week hybrid, very comfortable, but the ultimate goal is to get more time for our kids and to be full go at some point, hopefully by the end of the year, but we will see what happens. I'll be sending that information out to our families at some point next week. 2 more items. Were the city of Brooklyn, last year when COVID hit, they were attempting to do a summer enrichment camp for kids. This year that's happening. So we met with the city at some point, Mr. Abruzzi over at the city, and there's going to be a summer enrichment camp available for grades 6 through, entering kindergarten through 6th grade for our students during the summer. Information will be sent to our parents at some point. There's going to be a fee associated with that. We're hopeful we're able to use some of our grant funds to help some of our Brooklyn parents out. So more information coming on that. I think it's a needed thing. We want our kids active and doing things in the summer, so very excited about that. And the last announcement I'm very excited about, we're going to be starting next school year our own Brooklyn Digital Learning Academy. I think what we found with the pandemic, especially, is that we have a certain group of students that that prosper and do well in a remote environment. And so what's going to happen is we're going to be starting the Digital Learning Academy. We're going to be announcing that tomorrow through a press release, or this week, excuse me, through social media, but very excited about this possibility and hopeful that some of our students that have chosen to go to school elsewhere outside of Brooklyn that are still Brooklyn residents, this will be a program that we can attract them and bring them back, because I do believe we're doing some really good things here in the district. Mr. Hare and Mr. Larson have been amazing during this process. They have a good vision of what this is going to look like. We're going to be able to coordinate the Digital Academy with our Polaris kids, so kids aren't going to have to choose between programming. And so very cool things, very good things coming forward, but we're going to be starting that on the 16th, our next board meeting. Mr. Hare and Mr. Larson will be presenting to the board some of the details of the program.
Thank you.
And that's all I have. Any questions? Okay, great. Thank you, Mrs. Barczyk.
Now, on to our treasurer's report. Mrs. A, do you have a report this evening?
Yes, can you guys all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Section 313 of the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act was signed into law on December 27, 2020, and it provided an additional $54.3 billion for the elementary and secondary school emergency relief fund. This is similar to the CARES Act ESSER funds that we received earlier in the fiscal year. Brooklyn is anticipated to have around $1.5 million for the purpose to pay for additional expenses due to the pandemic. Dr. Claris and I have already had a good discussion about the ESSER 2 funds and how they will be spent. We can supplement general fund expenses, but those expenses will then be shifted back to the general fund, so we need to be careful of what we do. And these funds are specifically used for the purpose to pay for additional expenses due to the pandemic. And then another good news that we got was last Friday, Governor DeWine signed an executive order that formalizes the budget and reduction for fiscal year 2021. I'm pleased to report that the cuts to the Department of Education's budget are not as significant as expected. Last year, we got 212,000 cut. We anticipated another 200,000 cut, and it came out for this year, we're only going to get 97,000 in cuts. So that's some good news for the fiscal year 21, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mrs. A. Now, on to comments from board members or board committee reports. Does anybody, did you?
Yeah, I just,
Okay, Mr. Slattery?
first off, I'm glad we're finally releasing the information about the Digital Learning Academy. I know we've talked quite a bit about that, and so I think that's going to be accepted very well by many people. I got a couple phone calls from parents. One of the things I contacted you, handed off, and then yesterday there was an issue. I sent it to Mr. Hare, advised both parents, this is the avenue you take. You contact
Right.
the school principal if you have, you guys took it and dealt with it very quickly, and the parents were happy about that.
Great.
And then lastly, our city council liaison, Mary Bellbeer, it's her birthday today, so I just wanted to say happy birthday to her. So that's all I have.
Happy birthday, Mary.
Enjoy the day.
Anyone else? Anyone? Okay. Now, on to the approval of minutes and financial statements, and our reader tonight is Mr. Rocky Neal. Thanks, Rocky.
Resolved that the minutes of the January 19th, 2021 Board of Education meeting be adopted and all action be taken by the Board of Education at said meeting is hereby reaffirmed and approved.
So moved.
Yeah, have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barczyk.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education approves the MOU agreement between the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education, BEA, and the OEA per the attachment.
Can I have a motion, please?
So
So,
moved.
second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Barczyk, this is needed, the contract's pretty specific to what the calendar needs to look like. We've added kind of similar to what we did this past summer, added some professional development days to kind of help our families out with what that day looks like. So that's the MOU, the agreement between us and BEA, and thankful to Mrs. Bloma for facilitating that. So we're excited about the schedule for next year.
Thank you. Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the 2021/2022 school calendar per exhibit.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
No.
Pursuant to the shared service contract between the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education and Connect, Brooklyn hereby provides notice of its intent to terminate our membership in Connect and all applicable service agreements starting with the 21-22 school year effective July 1st, 2021.
Can I have a motion, please?
moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Barczyk, this is, we've been with Connect for quite a few years. I'd like to thank them for all their time and effort and work with us. We're going to be moving to Neonet. Familiar with Neonet from previous districts. They offer a little bit more in terms of some professional development support for our staff. And they offer a little bit more support on the back end infrastructure. So I think that's the primary reason going to Neonet. Gives us a little bit more options down the road. So again, thank you to Connect for everything they've done over the years.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Is there, this is going to Colleen, is there any kind of proration for our membership that we get refunded back, or is this just
We'll get,
future
yeah,
membership?
no, we'll be able to do the same things with, excuse me, Mrs. Ahold, we'll be able to do the same thing, the same E-rate refunding with Neonet as we did with Connect. So all the discounts that we had available through Connect, we will work with Neonet on those discounts.
Anyone else? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby enters into an agreement providing for the membership of the Metropolitan Regional Council of Governments and participation in the Neonet program. Agreement on file in Treasurer's Office effective July 1st, 2021.
Can I have a motion? Can I have a second?
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the superintendent to enter into agreement with Ripcho Studio for the 2021-2022 school year.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Questions, comments?
If they could try harder, I thought I was gonna look thinner in my photo. So if they could, work on that, that would be great.
Noted. No.
No. Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
No.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent to enter into agreement with the University of Akron to qualify students for College Credit Plus during the 2021-2022 school year per the attachment.
Motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Questions, comments? Great.
Just an annual agreement with University of Akron if we have students attending their university. So just covers us from that perspective.
Anyone else? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education, acting upon the superintendent's written recommendation, hereby abolishes the administrative positions, both athletic director full-time and athletic director part-time, pursuant to the board policy 1540 RC 3319.174, and applicable laws due to reorganization and/or consolidation of administrative function effective June 30th, 2021, and hereby suspends both of these exempt teaching and/or exempt non-teaching employment contracts pursuant to board policy 3131 and 4131, RC 3319.17, RC 3319.172, and applicable laws due to financial reasons effective June 30th, 2021, per the attachment.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Pursuant to Board Bylaw 0131, Board Policies 1100, 1400, 3111, 3120.01, and 4111, and 4120.01 as applicable. Administrative Guidelines 1400, 3120.01, and 4120.01 as applicable, and applicable laws. The Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby establishes both the administrative position of Director of Alternative Education and Athletics and the corresponding job description, a copy of which is attached hereto, incorporated herein.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
Ms. Barcheck, Board of Education, this position is going to be, so the Director of Alternative Education Athletics, we're reorganizing the athletic director position. And so this new administrator will be in charge of the Digital Learning Academy under, with assistance from Mr. Hare, but also taking on our athletic director position. So with this position, we needed somebody with an Ohio principal's license. And I'd like to thank Mr. Verba for all of his time. Mr. Verba is going to continue as a teacher in the district and hopefully continue to help out with athletics and coach and faculty manager, but his time has been appreciated, both as a teacher, as an administrator. So that's really the reason for the position.
Thank you. Any questions? Anyone else?
No.
Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
No.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves employment of Melody Click as a classified substitute bus driver for the 2020-2021 school year, contingent upon satisfactory completion of all credentials and background checks.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have- Second. Questions, comments? Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
This is commendation, this is procedural, right?
Yes.
All right, the Brooklyn City Board of Education, Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby commends Len Piachowski for his 6 years of service to the students of Brooklyn.
We don't need a motion on that
No,
one.
Ms.
That's-
Pachowski works with us as our ELL teacher, works for the ESC. We obviously didn't accept his resignation because he's retiring from the ESC, but I still wanted to note that he's worked with us and he's done an amazing job with our kids.
Thank
So
you.
just want to
Thank
thank him
you.
for his time and congratulate him on his retirement. Thank
Enjoy your retirement. Thank you so much.
That's right, second half of your life. Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the following persons for the 2020-2021 supplemental coaching assignments with the provision that such individual comply with all Ohio High School Association rules and regulations and State Department of Education regulations pertaining to the proper certification and/or first aid training, and fulfills the requirements of the job description attached to their supplemental contracts. Jason Hubble, head varsity track coach. Kyle Akins, assistant varsity track coach. Joe Perella Jr., head varsity softball coach. Nicolette Kuneth, assistant varsity softball coach. Kevin Sidlacek, head varsity baseball coach. Tim Hanlon, assistant varsity baseball coach. Timothy Batcha, co-JV baseball coach. And David Oldag, co-JV baseball coach.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second?
Questions, comments?
Spring sports?
Spring sports, yes.
Mrs. A, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes.
Resolved that the Brooklyn City School District Board of Education hereby approves the application for the following student activity on file in the Treasurer's Office, Brooklyn Middle School School Council Activity Fund, FY 2021 Avid Student Activity.
Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
Questions, comments?
Standard?
Standard, just, is that standard?
Yes, I'm hoping to have these all at once at the end of this fiscal year for next fiscal year, but that's not how it was done with the transition. So right now they're intermittent, but it's standard to have these approved before they can spend any money.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mr. Oper,
Yes.
Mr. Slattery,
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes. Do you have any correspondence related to action information? Other business?
February 13th, we're gonna get a time frame.
Yeah.
We were talking, Jim.
Can we, is it possible to push back to the 20th?
20th, okay, let's
Is
see.
that possible?
Yeah, for
I'm
me,
sorry,
no, that's fine,
got
that's,
a
for me, that's, it's fine. I believe, did Mr. Markling have the 20th down, I believe?
He held the 13th, I can call him tomorrow. and
Was there
find
someone
out.
who
I
couldn't do the
appreciate
20th? Was there one of you guys that couldn't, or, because it wasn't me?
I've got something on the 20th, but the 13th just worked better. That's the only reason I threw that out. The 20th I can
Yeah, this
Okay.
is unavoidable.
manipulate.
I'm
Can you
good.
manage it?
Okay,
I'm good for either one.
okay, so the
Yeah, I'm
20th at
fine. I
8:30?
should be fine the 20th as well.
Okay, 20th at 8:30?
Thank you.
Okay, oh, that's fine.
I'll confirm and I'll send an email to the board.
Okay.
Or I'll put it in the update this week.
And then the, we're looking for an additional meeting in March. Is there any, days that work better for everyone in March? Is there, Dr.
Where we
Claris?
at in March already? I just put my.
We have the March 2nd and March 16th board meetings
Those
already.
ones, besides that one, we need an
Right.
additional one, so is it a day of the week in March? That looks better for everybody. I mean, I'm
I'm
open.
flexible.
Yeah, I'm
flexible.
open. Is there,
I'm wide open.
Yeah,
You guys just tell me
yeah, I'm.
where
wide
and
open
when,
too.
and I'll be there.
Rick, do you have,
Anything but the first Wednesday and the second Tuesday.
That's the 3rd and the 9th.
so anything but the 3rd and the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay.
let's-
Rocky, do you have anything? Is there,
I'm gonna say I'm pretty solid,
you-
whichever date, right now.
would the first week in March or the second week in March work better for you, or
It's
is
fine,
there?
yeah, that's fine. I mean,
First
I'm
week?
good. You're
Okay.
right, so. you
Jim
wanna do
said
it-
the 3rd and the 9th are bad for you,
Yeah.
Jim?
Yeah, that's Polaris and Planning Commission.
Okay.
Gotcha. 3rd
So-
and the 9th, let's.
Anybody, what about the 4th or the 11th?
11th is our opening night of our play. I don't think it doesn't matter to me in terms of that, but just as an FYI. 4th works for me, if that works for everybody.
Yeah, 4th?
Yeah.
Okay.
March
4th at 6?
March 4?
Yes.
I'm just happy to hear that the
We
play's
gotta make
going
sure
off.
that, yeah,
Can
we
we go
got,
earlier than 6?
yeah, we have to ask Mr.,
Yeah.
yeah, we have to confirm with him if he can do the 4th at
Is,
also,
is 5 too early, too late?
5 is fine with me
I
on the
could be
4th.
here.
I could do 5.
5
Five
is
is fine.
fine.
5 is fine on the
March
4th.
4 at 5?
I'll
Yes.
confirm with
Yeah,
Mr.
let's
Markling.
make sure, I'm sure we'll see each other 3 times by that time.
Yeah.
Well, 2.
Yep.
Is there March Madness this year?
Yeah, they're doing it in, like, they're doing the bubble.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are.
I really watched too much.
Okay, any other business? Okay, announce that the next regular board meeting is Tuesday, February 16th, 2021, in the Media Center located at Brooklyn Intermediate Elementary School, 9200 Bidoff Road, Brooklyn, Ohio, at 6 PM. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? Mrs. A, can you call the roll?
Mr. Singer.
Yes.
Mr. Neal.
Yes.
Mr. Oper.
Yes.
Mr. Slattery.
Yes.
Mrs. Barcheck.
Yes, thank you.